Hello and welcome to another All Nation Line video. Today in our continuing series of videos to talk about some of our tooling in our shop. Today I would like to show you a tool that we use to make threads in some of our kit parts. This tool is called a tapping head. And in just a minute I'll set it down and go over the details to explain a description of this tool, and then we'll take and go into the machine shop and look at how to set it up, how it operates, and hopefully we'll all learn a little something before this video is done. Let's describe this tap head now. It was made in Germany. The design was very well thought out, and it's a precision tool. We typically cut threads for 090 up to 440, and we needed a tap head that could take the smaller taps and help us semi-automate the tapping of a lot of our parts that go into our kits. This tap head came with a #1 Morse taper, and this end here would be inside this part of the head, and we substituted a different stem so that we could use it in a drill press. You'll note that there's a hole here for lubricating this, and the bearings in here will be lubricated with some oil periodically, and in this section of the head would be the planetary gears, and of course we have a hole here to be able to lubricate the planetary gears and a drain hole, and so we want to make sure that we have a long life on this tap. We'll definitely keep things lubricated, as we usually do with a little tap magic before actually cutting the thread. The part of the tap head that mounts the tap itself is interesting part to discuss, because it's like a universal on an automobile drive shaft internally, and it allows you to make sure that when you put a tap in, it's perfectly centered, so the upper set screw will clamp onto the flat side of the bit at the end. The lower one will clamp onto the round portion of the tap. And that's basically a description of this. Of course, this little dial here gives us the ability to fine-tune its performance with this clutch, and a lot of what you see here will become much more clear once we get in the machine shop, show its purpose and function.
This tool.
Yeah.
Now, another thing that I learned too, I put a dot on this side, okay?
Okay.
And the reason being, instead of the dot on this side over here, when I first had it set up, I had the bar on this side.
Right.
So, and it would have worked either way, it just would have swung the bar around this side. But what I found is when this thing first starts, to make it have the right rotation, it works better if the bar is on this side.
Okay.
And all it would do would either hit on this side of the pin or that side of the pin.
Right.
But I kept it that it hit on the back side that it's away from me. When a thing first starts, it's backwards for my heads. My heads, they start and they're going in a right-hand rotation right out of the gate.
Right.
When this thing starts, it's actually in a left hand. It looks like it's backwards until you put pressure on it. Then it pushes it up in, and then it hits the right-hand part of the planetaries.
Yeah.
So when I finally understood that, I'm so used to that one because it's got the same rotation right out of the gate.
Right,
This is
okay.
opposite. Nothing wrong with it. It's just the way it's built. It's
Yeah.
just opposite. So all I did, and this is why I asked you if you have a vise at all, because this is really all you need for this. I don't want to hit your tripod. Yeah, you're good. If you're a people pound the world producing on this offer, the top 20% of your sales Okay. So you want to set your vise that about like that you have a gap, you know, and that your tap is about in the middle of the gap.
Okay.
Okay. I gotta take this down a little bit more. Okay. So now I'll show you how to load this. You have any of those parts?
Yeah, I got them in the car.
Okay.
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 Yep.
Tighten, making sure everything's down flat. All the pieces are flat. So do the middle one, and they don't have to be done crazy.
You're right.
That's not really necessary. So you just tighten them up like that.
Yep.
And now if you want to push on them a little bit, make sure they're going to stay put. Now no, that's good, that's staying. If you ever come across one where the dimension across the flat is a little less, it probably won't tighten, you know, because it'll tighten on the high ones.
Yeah.
If you come across that, set that one aside. You can actually just do them singly if you want.
Sure. Yeah.
You know. So I don't know, being that they're CNC made, they're probably going to be okay, but
Yeah.
just something to be. There is a fix to that, and that would be for me to drill a ball bearing plunger.
Right.
And put one there, and there. That way they always have one. From what I'm seeing so far, it seems to work.
Yeah.
So, and all you gotta do is, this thing isn't clamped, this is just freewheeling.
Right. Okay.
So I figured if I made that clamp big enough, it would have so much mass that it wouldn't try to rotate with the tap. Because the
Okay.
tap is so tiny.
Yeah.
Where's my bar? There. This is the only thing that I left from the setup that you saw the other day.
Yeah.
GOP Congressman Daniel Webster of Florida. One of America's largest ports, Port of Los Angeles, faces approximately 4 million.
Okay, so then you got that.
Yep.
Okay. Then, where am I? I'm too fast in my RPM, so I've got to go down. Okay.
So you're about
That's
90
that's about 500.
Oh, 500.
500.
Leaving along around
Yeah.
so.
And it'll take it.
$6.6 million settlement with the state of Texas after an unprecedented fire 5 years ago at ATC's facility lasted 3 days with hazardous chemicals in the air, the water, the land, not only caused immediate destruction, but
Now when you put the tap in,
natural resources in.
you got
Those conditions of more than 9,000 people.
to find the right outlet
Please
first.
report this office seeking public comment of the 30 days on publication of the settlement notice, which will take place in the Texas Register.
This is all metric because it's German, so it's going to be.
Alaska Airlines said in its filing with the SEC, the $160 million from Boeing is an initial payment.
Okay. When you put the tap in, this is like a universal in a drive shaft in a car.
Okay.
Okay. You want to take the tap. Right now they're both loose, and they're kind of connected to each other, but kind of not. One just like fits into another.
Yeah.
So you want to put this up in here, all the way, have them both loose, and as you tighten this one first, the top one, you want to feel it back and forth.
Okay.
Okay, and you'll feel it hitting on the square of the tap.
Right.
Okay. And realistically, you can probably tap with it like that. I don't see any reason you can't. But what I did is I tightened up both of them. Or if for that matter, you could tighten up this one and not this one. You know, and it's still going to float.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
being fixed on the bottom. But being that I'm on a square, it's going to drive it a little better. So, you see, it's floating to some extent, but not a ton. And that's the idea of this too, because this helps to actually, as long as your holes are done. What I would say is you could use this thing if you set, it's very symmetrical. So you could realistically set a stop on your drill press vise.
Yeah.
and then load a piece in there. You can just do them one at a time if you wanted to. You could, or technically you could do two at a time. You could put one, because the distance is the same from each side to center.
Yes.
So you could put it up against the stop, drill one, flip it around, drill the other one. You could do that too and use this as a drilling guide.
Sure.
So it's, you know, it's whatever.
Yeah. Drill them all the way through.
Yeah, just punch them through. See how it works out for you. Realistically, something like that should be done with a collet. That drilling should be done with a collet in a little. These are really expensive, but you can find a used one. They're nice. So I've seen collet head. What I just took off of there.
Oh, yeah.
They also have a cheaper version. I don't know if you can lay these things over the sides. No, you can't. There's a cheaper version like this, but you can't lay it on the side, so it doesn't really go. But either way, this thing is very accurate from side to side and between all the holes. If you had a milling machine, you could blaze them all out with one setup like that.
Yeah.
So what you want to do, the real kicker to this is the stop here. This kind of dictates everything. And you have to almost, once you're set, probably gonna not be enough. Let's try it right there. Once you're set, then you're set. But getting this initial, the first couple are like a little bit more until you see the top go down. And it lets you know when you don't want to go through and through. You just want to go half, you know, the big center hole. So then from that
When
point
you
on,
set that up, are you lifting this?
yeah, yep, push it, because this is when it starts to actually drive in a clockwise position.
But did you come down?
Yeah, I held it up like this,
Yeah.
and then brought it down.
Okay.
Okay.
To get to that.
I think I'm going to be about right. You see there, right there's about an 1/8 inch gap.
Yep.
From what I saw the other day, that's pretty close. But you almost have to feel it out. The first couple are an experiment, just in height. Once that's set, you really don't go back to it again. It's just, that's it. And I put a little bit down each hole. Now you see how this is spinning in a clockwise direction,
Right.
like your drill press would. But this damn thing, if you look at it, is going backwards. It's going
Right.
all right, and that's what I couldn't wrap my head around. I'm like, what the hell? This can't work that way. But yeah, it does work that way.
Yeah.
Because once you get it up to it, then all of a sudden, once they're just clicked into that gear,
Yeah.
now it's connected with the rest of the spindle.
Sure.
So that was the hardest part for me to wrap my head around. Hang on a second. Pick this thing up all the way up so there's no gap here.
Right.
And from the point that you're just barely, can you see down here?
Yep.
The point that you're just barely there, you want to have about an 1/8 to maybe 3/16,
Okay.
and that's a starting point.
Okay.
Okay, then you got to refine it from there.
So you don't lock them.
You can if you want.
No.
It probably won't move. No, you gotta go more. That's probably about right. And down the next one.
Okay, let me come around the other side with you.
Okay. Just that easy. And a lot of it depends on your feed too. Like if you don't feed right,
Yeah.
you'll get a feel for it once you do a couple.
Yeah.
See it skipping like that?
Yeah.
That's from me not feeding right.
I see.
And that's it.